Vinícius Jr. exits match after alleged racism in heated Benfica fixture. The stadium was roaring, the lights were blazing, the match was boiling, and then, everything stopped. A gesture, a reaction, a furious sprint toward the referee. Seconds later, one of football's brightest stars was walking off the pitch. Not injured, not substituted, but shaken. When Vinícius Jr. left the field during a heated clash between SL Benfica and Real Madrid, it wasn't just another dramatic football moment. It became a global flashpoint. Because this wasn't about tactics. It wasn't about rivalry. It was about something much bigger than football. And what happened that night would once again force the sport to confront a problem it has struggled to eradicate for decades. Chapter 1. A match already on edge. Before kickoff, tension was already thick. Benfica's historic stadium buzzed with intensity. European nights in Lisbon are rarely calm. The atmosphere is passionate, relentless, and emotionally charged. Real Madrid arrived as heavyweights, serial winners in continental competition. Benfica entered with pride, history, and a crowd determined to intimidate. This wasn't just a fixture. It was identity versus dominance. Tradition versus expectation. From the opening whistle, the match reflected that energy. Hard tackles, aggressive pressing, heated exchanges. The kind of game where tempers simmer just beneath the surface. Chapter 2. The moment that changed everything. Midway through the contest, an incident occurred that shifted the narrative entirely. After a heated exchange involving players from both sides, Vinícius Jr. reacted visibly. He gestured toward the referee. He pointed. He argued. The referee paused play. Players gathered. Benfica's players looked confused. Madrid's players looked protective. Then Vinícius walked away from the center of confrontation, not toward his teammates but toward the sideline. The crowd's noise fractured into mixed reactions. Whistles, shouts, uncertainty. Moments later, he exited the pitch. Not dramatically, not theatrically, but deliberately. Chapter 3. Allegations of racism. Reports quickly circulated that the Brazilian winger had alleged racist abuse during the heated exchange. The exact words, disputed. The intent, contested. The impact, undeniable. Racism in football is not new. But every time it resurfaces, it sends shockwaves through the sport. For Vinícius Jr., this was not unfamiliar territory. Throughout his career, he has been subjected to repeated racist abuse in various stadiums across Europe. Each incident has deepened conversations about systemic issues within the game. This night in Lisbon felt like another painful chapter. Chapter 4. The immediate fallout on the pitch. As Vinícius left the field, Real Madrid players gathered near the bench area. Some appeared ready to follow him entirely off the pitch. Others urged calm. The referee activated anti-racism protocols, pausing the match. In modern football, governing bodies, particularly UEFA, have established procedures to address discriminatory behavior. These include halting the match, announcing warnings to the stadium, potentially suspending or abandoning the game if abuse continues. The pause lasted several minutes. The stadium announcer issued a warning. Play eventually resumed, but the emotional temperature had changed permanently. Chapter 5. The psychological toll. To understand moments like this, you must understand the mental strain placed on players. Elite athletes operate under immense pressure. Performance expectations, media scrutiny, fan hostility. Now add racial abuse. The psychological burden multiplies. Vinícius Jr. has repeatedly spoken about how such incidents affect him. Not just as a footballer, but as a human being. Footballers are professionals, but they are also people. And when abuse targets identity rather than performance, it cuts deeper. Chapter 6. The wider pattern. This incident did not occur in isolation. Over the past several seasons, Vinícius Jr. has become one of the most targeted players in European football when it comes to racist abuse. From chants in rival stadiums to online harassment, the problem has followed him. Each time, investigations are promised. Each time, statements are released. Each time, outrage surges. But meaningful change often feels slow. The Benfica fixture reignited that frustration. Chapter 7. Benfica's response. Following the match, Benfica released a statement denying any institutional wrongdoing and emphasizing their opposition to racism. They expressed commitment to cooperation with any official investigation. Football clubs are increasingly aware that their reputations are intertwined with how such incidents are handled. For Benfica, a club with rich history and prestige, the allegation was serious. The tension between protecting reputation and confronting truth became central to the aftermath. Chapter 8. Real Madrid's position. Real Madrid stood firmly behind their player. Club officials condemned racism unequivocally and called for a thorough investigation. Internally, there was anger, but also exhaustion. Because this was not the first time. And when patterns repeat, frustration turns into something heavier. Chapter 9. The global reaction. Within minutes, social media erupted. Clips circulated. Hashtags trended. Debates ignited. Some fans demanded lifetime bans. Others urged caution until investigations concluded. Former players, pundits, and commentators weighed in. The world was watching. And once again, football's relationship with racism was under scrutiny. Chapter 10. A history of struggle in European football. Racism has long stained European football. From the terraces of the 1980s to modern digital abuse, progress has been uneven. Anti-racism campaigns have grown louder. Banners have been displayed. Slogans have been promoted. Yet incidents persist. The contradiction is stark. Football markets itself as global, inclusive, and unifying, yet moments like this expose lingering divisions. Chapter 11. Why Vinícius Jr. has become a symbol. Vinícius Jr. represents more than Real Madrid. He represents a new generation. Fearless, expressive, unapologetic. His celebrations are bold. His style is flamboyant. Some critics have argued that his confidence provokes opponents. But confidence is not justification for racism. And increasingly, Vinícius has become a symbol of resistance, refusing to be silenced. Chapter 12. The decision to walk off. Walking off the pitch carries symbolic weight. It says, enough. It disrupts the spectacle. It forces confrontation. It removes entertainment from the equation. Some argue that continuing play diminishes the seriousness of abuse. Others argue that leaving gives perpetrators attention. There is no easy answer. But in that moment, Vinícius Jr. chose dignity over continuation. Chapter 13. The role of UEFA. UEFA's protocols aim to balance immediate action with due process. Their three-step procedure is designed to escalate appropriately. However, critics argue that enforcement remains inconsistent. Fines are issued. Stadium sections are closed. Warnings are given. But for players repeatedly targeted, these measures may feel insufficient. The Benfica incident renewed calls for harsher penalties and stronger preventative strategies. Chapter 14. Football's moral crossroads. Modern football is a billion-dollar industry. Broadcast rights, sponsorship deals, global marketing. Yet racism undermines its moral credibility. If football wants to be truly global, it must protect every player equally. Moments like this demand more than statements. They demand systemic reform. Chapter 15. Teammate solidarity. One of the most powerful images from the night was Madrid players standing near Vinícius on the sideline. Solidarity matters. When teammates show visible support, it shifts power dynamics. It sends a message. This is not one player's issue. This is our issue. And unity strengthens resistance. Chapter 16. The crowd's role. Crowds are complex ecosystems. A minority can create chaos. A majority can remain silent. Silence can sometimes feel like complicity. The responsibility to challenge racism does not lie solely with clubs and officials. Fans play a critical role. Cultural change requires collective accountability. Chapter 17. Media responsibility. How incidents are reported shapes perception. Language matters. Alleged protects due process. But minimizing impact can unintentionally dilute seriousness. Balanced, responsible reporting is essential, especially in high-profile cases. Chapter 18. What happens next? Investigations take time. Evidence is reviewed. Testimonies are collected. Decisions are debated. But beyond official outcomes, the deeper question remains. Will this moment spark meaningful change? Or will it become another headline that fades? Chapter 19. The human side of stardom. Vinícius Jr. is often viewed through the lens of performance. Goals, assists, skill. But nights like this remind us he is human. He feels. He reacts. He endures. And that humanity must remain central to how the sport responds. Chapter 20. Final reflection, a game bigger than the scoreline. The match will eventually be remembered for goals, tactics, and statistics. But history may remember it for something else. For the moment when a player said, without words, "This is unacceptable." Vinícius Jr. exiting the pitch was not weakness. It was a stand, a reminder that football, for all its brilliance, still has work to do. The beautiful game must be beautiful for everyone. And until that becomes reality, moments like this will continue to shake stadiums around the world. Because sometimes, the loudest statement in football is walking away.